Name is iconic in the Nigerian legal profession.
Its gen of practice is to foster injustice. The name Yusuf Olaolu Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is among those you will consider a radical lawyer in Nigeria. Over 60 years ago, to a civil servant father and the mother a trader. He took us through his school days and his early childhood. He confirmed was laced with radicalism.
I was born over 60 years ago to what I would call not poor, not rich family. My father was a civil servant. My mother was and is still a trader. I started school, both formal school and Quranic school in 1960, and left primary school eventually in 1968. I then went to what used to be called secondary modern school for 3 years, after which I worked for some time, and then eventually entered Ibadan Boys High School in Ibadan in 1973, and left Ibadan Boys High School in 1977. I then worked again before I gained admission to the then University of Ife in 1978, and I graduated in 1982 with a second class upper in law. I went to the Nigerian school. I also made a second class upper in the law school. Growing up was quite interesting. I grew up in a family where cousins, nephews, and everybody were just brothers and sisters. So I had this communal feeling, communal upbringing amongst a lot of family members. Well, I can assure you I was exceedingly stubborn. And part of it is still with me because I'm the first person to confess to anybody that I'm very, very restless by nature. But I was very lucky. I was good in school, even in primary school, in modern school. And you know, modern school in those days, the final exams in the modern school is you failed in one subject, you fail in all. If you score 99% in all the subjects and you score 49 in one, you are failed. So I was lucky in my set, we were 3 that made the final exams. Out of, I think we were 46 or 56 that took the exam. Only 3 of us passed because of the principle of failed in one, failed in all. So, but in relative terms, I thank Allah.
Being a labor prefect in the secondary school further brought out its strict and disciplined attributes.
You are right, because you see, the way you grew up will determine, you see, I tell people, you are the totality of your life experiences. A human being is the totality of his human experiences. From while I was virtually a toddler, I hated cheating. I used to have a lot of quarrel with elderly people because they thought that it was normal to cheat children. I would resist it. And I tried in my life, since then, I try avoiding teaching people or giving preferential treatment to people. When I was the labor prefect in the Ibadan Boys High School, I had a lot of people who are my school boys, school sons, as they call them. But I told them, I said, look, the only disadvantage you suffer if you are my school son is that you must be the first person to report for manual duties. Because I won't spare you. So I don't like partiality. I don't like favoritism of any type. And that has been the totality of my life. So, and because I grew up in an environment where I can take issues up with elders, discuss with them, argue with them in a civilized way. And that's the way I live. So if you tell me something and I think it is all right, I won't just take it because you are older. So I will join issues with you. So, and I think, by and large, I think there are streaks of what people call toughness in my character.
This erudite lawyer takes us through the transition from a secondary education to a higher institution, being among the first set of students to gain admission to university through JAMB.
Allah has a way of directing people's lives. When I entered this university, University of Ife then, I was offered admission to read history and history education. I then said, no, I wanted to change to law because it was law I wanted. We were the guinea pigs of JAMB in 1978. We were the first set that took JAMB in Nigeria. So there were a lot of errors, some mistakes in the admission processes. So there's education history. I came and I said, look, I wanted, meanwhile before then, 1977, I was offered law in this same university. But I got the letter of admission a week after the matriculation. So I couldn't make it. So I said I wanted law. And luckily for me, I did very well in my first semester exams. Had an on all A's. And I said, and so there was a family friend who said he would talk to the dean of law. He went to talk to the dean, and the dean said, look, if this guy has this kind of result, there's no reason we will not take him in the faculty of law. To cut a long story short, I then filled the change of course form that I wanted to change to law. But the dean of education, may God rest his soul now, he's late. I won't mention his name. He insisted that, look, how should we be losing our own brilliant students to other faculties? That, look, we are not, for this boy, I'm not going to release anybody this year to go and to change any course. So until then, I was what you call a normal Muslim, in the sense that I will go to the, because I've been doing my Salat complete since 1972. So I will just go to the mosque, I will sit at the edge, Assalamu alaikum, I will just leave. No, I didn't take part in any other activities apart from just Salat. Then one day we were in the mosque, and I just prayed, and I said, Allah, this change of course, if you allow it to go through, I will get more dedicated. I'm serious now, and this is what people in other religion will call miracle and testimony. I said, Allah, if you allow this change of course to happen, I will get more dedicated to you. And then that was what I said. So one Friday we finished Salat in 1979. Somebody just came and said, Ali, I saw your name on change of course. I said, that could not be true. Because the dean told the professor, family friend, that no, I won't allow it to happen. And behold, I went to the notice board and I saw my name was number 1. Change of course from history to law. Then I said, well, I owe Allah a debt. I've said I will become more dedicated. From that point on, I got very involved with the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria.
His activism in the campus was tried and tested. As a member of the Touch, the campus magazine, they served more like the whistleblower to checkmate erring students and staff of the school.
I was a campus journalist. I was the features editor of one magazine called The Touch, which used to write about students' activities and those who misbehaved and things like that. So I took part in all those ones. And because the MSS was very influential on the campus, those who wanted to contest for student union positions would come to talk to us. They will come to me, come to some other brothers and sisters. They want your support. And to the glory of God, all those times, all the people we threw our weight behind. One, either for presidency of the student union and so, and a lot of the student union officials were friends and colleagues. So university was quite interesting.
The name is iconic in the Nigerian legal profession.
Its gen of practice is to foster injustice. The name Yusuf Olaolu Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is among those you will consider a radical lawyer in Nigeria. Born over 60 years ago to a civil servant father and the mother a trader, Barrister Yusuf Olaolu Ali took us through the memorable National Youth Service.
NYC was quite interesting. I served in Ilorin. So it was very interesting because at that time I was first vice president of the MSS, and we have a national secretariat which we are trying to build in Ilorin. So it was part of my mandate to supervise the project. So it was necessary for me to be closer. And in any event, I had my NYSC. I was posted to the Ministry of Justice. In those days, lawyers were not posted to private chambers. But by some private arrangements, from where I was posted, I was doing some little work with then Mr. A.S. Awomolo now, Asiwaju, Adeboyega Awomolo SCN. I was with him, and at the end of the NYSC, one thing led to the other. I stayed with him, and we were together for 11 years before I set up Yusuf Ali & Co. Gallup Chambers on 1st of June, 1994.
How would you describe the justice system in Nigeria as a member of the bar?
What is happening in the justice sector of our country is the human problem. We have very strong professional ethics that prohibits most of the things that a lot of people do. And that is why, to the glory of God, I'm a member of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee. And in the last 4 years or so, we have debarred, that is, we have derobed at least more than 30 lawyers for various acts of infractions of the rules of professional ethics. And that's what I tell people. You must have character. If you don't have character, it doesn't matter how the job you do. Even if you are doing purely religious work, you would mess up. So people must have character. They must allow the fear of Allah to come into whatever they do. Do unto others the way you want them to do unto you. So speaking, the justice institution in our country has rules and regulations, which if we follow them, we won't run into most of the problems that we now have, for which citizens complain about law and lawyers and judiciary. But because we are Nigerians and we are not immune from the general malady and madness in the society, I think that is the problem. And you see that what is happening to the justice sector is the affliction of all the sectors of our country, because we haven't gotten it right.
One of the benefits of Muslim Student Society of Nigeria is interaction among students for national integration while learning the deen. Such interaction in a halal ambience paid off for our barrister at law, where he met the love of his life at MSS.
I told you that I was the president of the MSS here. We tried to revolutionize how MSS was run. We discovered that a lot of Muslim girls in our era were not identified with Islam. So we tried to introduce us good programs that are Islamic, but that will be attractive. So she was a member of the MSS. She was reading nursing. And because of our own activities, because I was a leader in the MSS, all the sisters were close to me. Because we even tried in our own level at that time to ensure that brothers and sisters come together to get themselves to get settled. So, but for her, I knew her very well. In fact, during all this, sometime she was living in Ibadan, I was living in Ibadan. We'll go visit, I'll go to their houses. Not only our house, other sisters who lived around that place, we'll go see them. How are you doing? All their parents knew us. So we were both members of the MSS. So maybe it was destined. Actually, I never got to talk to her until my last semester on the campus. I was in my final year, I was writing my final papers. When one day I just told her, look, is it possible we'll come together to get married to each other? And that was what happened.
How would he succinctly describe the contribution of Islam to his uprightness and zero tolerance to injustice?
The totality about my life. Everything I do, I borrow from the teachings of Islam. The way I live as a family man, the way I practice my profession, the way I relate with other professionals, either lawyers or non-lawyers, the way I relate with members of the public, everything about me is about, this is my understanding, trying to interpret my understanding of Islam. So, and I can just imagine, why not because of Islam? Maybe because of my radical nature as a young boy, I probably wouldn't have turned out well. If not because Islam had really suppressed the animal instinct in me, in every facet of it. So I owe everything to Allah and to Islam.
The counsel from such an erudite scholar cannot be wished away, as everyone can benefit from such words of wisdom.
You see, one thing I've found about life is that life is like a mirror. When you smile at a mirror, it smiles back at you. If you frown at a mirror, it frowns back at you. What you sow is what you reap. We should not dedicate our lives to primitive acquisitiveness. Just acquire. Let's remember that there will be a day of reckoning, day of account, no matter what you acquire here. And that is why it's important that whatever you want to acquire legitimately, legally, morally. Then number two, honesty pays. Integrity pays. I can say that anywhere, any day. That being honest, being truthful, being upright, it pays a lot. It pays a lot. Because what is man without moral fiber? What is man if you acquire everything in this world and you are not trustworthy? People don't believe in you. Then you have lost it. So for people who are younger than us, wait for your time. Don't write yourself up. The duty Allah has given to you is to worship Him and work hard. Allah doesn't cheat. He doesn't shortchange. That's what I found. If you work hard and you are conscientious and you can persevere, Allah will reward you. It's not, you see, Allah may not reward you with money. It may not be with material things. Allah may assist you in other areas of life for which money cannot even buy. Imagine having children that you are proud of that do not give you any problem. Money cannot buy that. Imagine your good health. Money cannot buy good health. It can only buy treatment. The fact that you are treated does not mean you are going to be well. So we should all know that there is no point running beyond our destiny. What Allah wants to give you, the whole world cannot stop. And what Allah is going to deny you, the whole world cannot give it. So let's invest our faith.
For his uprightness, resilience, we celebrate our ironic lawyer, a go-getter, a force to reckon with in the law profession with several national and global recognition, Barrister Yusuf Olaolu Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as our Personality of the Week on the Scorecard segment of Pathway to Jannah.